Hello friends, my name is Larissa and welcome to my YouTube. Today I wanted to share a little story, something very deeply important to me and a huge part of my life, and that is about my spiritual awakening and how it kind of coincided along with my raw vegan lifestyle, because for me the two are very interconnected, eating a high fruit diet and spirituality. I first just wanted to say quickly though, thank you so much to all of you amazing people who are here watching my videos and that interact with me on Instagram, that leave me comments here on YouTube, and that have subscribed to this channel, because when you subscribe it really helps me to grow this channel, which I would love to do just to spread the message to more people of a healthy lifestyle and self-love, and it just really means so much to me to have all of you here to connect with, so thank you so much. But yeah, I guess let's just get right into it. So I'm sure many of you that are watching this may be on a spiritual journey yourself, maybe not, but a lot of us are probably familiar with the idea that they usually begin once somebody sort of goes through something difficult in their lives or hits a rock bottom, and I can definitely relate with that. When I was younger, from the age of about 17 to my early 20s, maybe like 22, I definitely dealt with a lot of mental health problems. I really struggled with depression and anxiety, and I just did not have a love for myself or for life, and I didn't even want to be alive. Like, it got really, really bad at a certain point, and I did hit rock bottom where, yeah, I didn't want to live. I was not happy with my life at all, and it really just stemmed from a lack of self-love, and because of that, I wasn't giving myself the respect that I deserved. I was attracting people into my life that also were disrespectful towards me because it was a vibrational match to the way that I perceived myself, the thoughts I was having, the way I was living. And you know, that's a huge component that I've learned over time that really changes your life once you learn how to, I guess, just direct your energy towards what you do actually want. So after years and years and years of living in such a low vibration, I just got to the point where it was like, if I'm going to continue living this life, I have to change. Like, I have to do something, because I was just self-sabotaging for years. I think a lot of people, it just takes them a while to really get fed up with their own BS that they're putting themselves through, and it's unfortunate that it takes us so long to get to a point where we're ready to change. But thankfully, you know, I was still pretty young when I reached that point and decided to make some big changes. And little did I know the effect it would have on my life, how drastic my life really would change, and how I really would pretty much become a completely different person. I mean, my core essence has always been the same, but the reality that I'm living in, the thoughts that I think, and the way I treat myself and the way I think about myself has completely changed, and it's completely changed the external reflection of my reality as well. How I see the world around me, the life I live, and the people in my life that I attract is just so different. So it's really quite amazing. But for me, it really began with being introduced to some spiritual books on meditation. The first one I ever read, which is actually a really easy read because it's a pretty small book, it's called Zen and the Art of Happiness by Chris Prentice, I believe is the author's name. And yeah, I highly recommend giving that book a good read if you're new to meditation or spirituality, or even if you're not new and just want a book that's very quick and easy to read and has a lot of very potent information. Basically was my first introduction into mindfulness, into the idea that I create my reality. There's not just one reality that everybody's living in that's the same. You know, there's a reason why there's happy people and people living in in a depressive state, and it doesn't matter if they had the perfect life or their external circumstances. The way they feel and the way they feel about life and themselves starts from within, not from the outside. So mindfulness is just the key to realizing that you create your reality. Your reality is different than everybody else's, because we're not just humans living in this physical world. We are a consciousness. We are this consciousness that is residing within this human body. Although there is really only one source of consciousness that connects us all, that makes us all one, we in this lifetime, in this realm, on this planet, are experiencing almost this experiment of seeing what it's like to have this one big consciousness broken up into all these fragmented pieces, to experience different realities, different versions of consciousness, almost so that we can come together and share our experiences and grow and evolve as beings. Like, I don't know all the mysteries to life. I find it very intriguing, and I love to theorize on all the different possibilities of why we're here, what we're doing, and I have so many different beliefs of what that could be, but from my experience, that's one part of it, it seems, at least. But when you realize that reality is just what you make it from the internal perspectives that you have, and then you learn that you have the ability to change your neural pathways, to change your ways of thinking, the repetitive, habitual thinking patterns that you have built your whole life in your mind since you were a child, probably from the way that your parents or teachers or people spoke to you from a young age, that built these patterns of maybe unworthiness or doubt or fear. As you learn that you can change those, you can rewire your brain and take your power back and decide where you actually want to direct your energy, where you want to direct your thoughts, because your thoughts are going to help you decide where you want to direct your energy. So you take back control over your thoughts, which isn't easy. It takes, lots and lots of rewiring the brain and practice. And meditation is a huge tool because it helps you tap into the subconscious mind, which is then where you can rewire thoughts the easiest. And then when you come back out of meditation, you can bring it into your everyday life by practicing awareness of your thoughts. And anytime you have a thought that you don't want to think, then you replace it with where you do actually want to be directing your energy, to a thought that is empowering. So I've read lots of books over the years that have helped teach me these concepts. Like I mentioned, Zen and the Art of Happiness is a great book. It was the first one I read. And then I started getting really into the teachings of Dr. Joe Dispenza. He has amazing books. Eckhart Tolle is another great author and spiritual teacher. So books are great, documentaries. What the Bleep Do We Know is great. There's tons of interesting things that you can watch on this network called Gaia TV. It's kind of like Netflix, but more spiritual and like science kind of stuff. A little bit weird, but I don't know, I'm into that kind of thing, so it's definitely interesting to me. But basically, when I unplugged from like the mainstream sort of information that keeps us feeling like we have no control over our reality and that we aren't the powerful creators that we are, I mean, I feel like most of society just tries to distract us into consumerism, into feeling like we're not good enough. We need all these things outside of ourselves to feel happy and whole and beautiful. But when we learn that we can just decide to feel that way, we can just decide to have happiness and to know we're beautiful and whole and don't need anything, it does not support consumerism and capitalism. So that's why I think a lot of these concepts are not taught. You really have to go out of your way to seek the information, dive deep, learn and apply different concepts and see how it really does work, how it affects your life. So yeah, after I started reading a lot, and not just reading, but then applying things to my life, I applied mindfulness to my life. I started realizing throughout the day, oh, when I tell myself I hate my life, or that's stupid, or like everything's so hard, that's what I'm creating. I'm creating a life where that's true. So when I think those thoughts, back then, because I rarely do now, but if I do now too, I'll catch myself and be like, no, I'll think the opposite. Life isn't hard. I can make life easy and enjoyable. No, I don't hate my life. I freaking love my life. My life is amazing. I have, all these amazing friends and family that I love. I live in a beautiful place. Nature is so beautiful, and I get to spend so much time in nature and feel so grateful for all of the things that nature gives me. I get to eat the most beautiful food that tastes amazing and nourishes my body. But of course, in the beginning, I hadn't started really diving deep into my health journey yet and spending a lot of time in nature and stuff like that. Things kind of unfolded over time altogether. And as my spiritual journey got deeper, my health journey just kept getting more and more and more amazing, and I kept discovering new things that would improve my health overall, my mental, physical, and spiritual health. So the two just went together perfectly and really expanded my growth really, really quickly. So yeah, as I started reading these books, applying mindfulness, I hadn't started a really regular routine for meditation at the time, but things just started aligning one by one. So I discovered veganism and went vegan the next day after watching the documentary What the Health. It was the first time it was presented to me in a way that was like, oh, this is something I should try. Like, why haven't I thought of this before? So I went vegan overnight after watching What the Health. And within the first 2 weeks of being a new vegan, I was doing all this research online of like, how am I supposed to eat? I was paleo previously, so to me the whole concept of eating a lot of whole grains and beans and all this, it didn't align with what I originally thought I knew about nutrition, because with the paleo diet you exclude those foods because apparently like they cause inflammation in the body. So when I actually ended up coming across the concept of raw veganism for the first time, I was like, oh, that's interesting. That actually makes a lot of sense to me, because from my past of not eating grains and beans and these things that cause inflammation, but now I'm on a plant-based diet that encourages eating those things, but this whole raw veganism thing basically says we just need to eat fruits and vegetables and, a little bit of nuts and seeds. So I was really curious about that. And I didn't even realize, all the vibrancy and the electrical energy that's in living foods, and the enzymes and tons of vitamins, all these things that are no longer there once the food is cooked, that we miss out on. Because most people are eating every single one of their meals fully cooked. So at the beginning, it was just something that intrigued me. But then as I kept going with it and experimenting with raw foods, I immediately felt the vibrancy. I immediately felt my body with the electricity and all of the nutrients and enzymes that I had been missing my whole life. It was like immediately it clicked. And right away too, I started to feel more connected to myself and to my soul. And I started meditating. My meditation practice started off like not super consistent in the beginning. I was consistent for like a little while, and then I would, get off track, and then I would go back, and then I'd get off track. But at the moment, I've been very consistent for the last maybe 2 or 3 years. So yeah, it takes practice, and it takes getting used to having a new routine. But now my morning routine is like one of my favorite parts of the day, and something that I try to never skip, because it's changed my life. Seriously, it's changed my life. But yeah, so the raw foods help me feel more connected to myself, more in alignment with nature as well. Like, I started feeling things I had never felt before, like going outside and feeling connected to the trees, wanting to spend more time in nature, wanting to spend more time in the sun, and all of these things really recharging my energy and my soul. And yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but I know a lot of other people that eat the same way I do, eat a lot of fruit, mostly raw, and they had very similar experiences, feeling like they were going through a spiritual awakening as well when they started eating this way. So I know I'm not alone in this, and I know that fruit is a very, very special food on this planet. It's apparently the most high vibrational food that we can eat, and you can really feel it when you start eating a lot of it. For most of the meals that you eat, you feel so connected, especially when it's grown organically and high quality, and it's a seasonal food that was grown locally. You feel so connected to the food, to nature, and this helps you connect more to yourself. You realize we're all connected, and this food feeds your soul. It doesn't just feed your body. So it's a really beautiful thing that I've experienced, and the benefits I've seen of all of this together, of the meditating, the mindfulness practices I do, and eating the way I eat, I've completely overcome my depression and anxiety. I have completely transformed my life from me living in a negative state as a people pleaser, as always putting my energy out towards others and wasting it because it's going to the wrong places. I had to learn to recharge myself, to pour all the love into myself first, to give myself all of the things that I want from others. If I want love and respect and kindness and loyalty and honesty, I have to give that all to myself and others, and then I will receive it in return. And I've experimented with this. I've seen it all. I've seen how it really is real. The energy that we put out there, it has a real effect on the material world, because we may think that everything is material, that is solid, but everything is made of energy. And so when we can learn to manipulate energy to create our lives from the energy that we're putting out there, that starts with our thoughts and our emotions, then we can see things changing around us. Just like synchronicities, the people we attract, the way we start living our lives. So it helped me get to this state where I have no fear and I live from a place of love now. And that's helped me realize I can do and achieve anything I want in life. Like, I'm a very powerful person. We all are. We have to remember our power. And that's why a lot of people have been asking me lately, how are you traveling? What do you do for work? Like, how are you living the life that you're living right now? Like, just so free, you know? And that's just my mindset. It has nothing to do with how much money I have or how much money I make or the job I have. I chose to live a life of freedom. I chose to leave the past work that I was doing, working at restaurants, which I did for years and I used to love. I chose to leave that life behind because I realized it was causing me a lot of stress, and it was keeping me from my freedom to be able to live however I wanted. I always had to work on holidays, and I couldn't just take work off whenever I wanted because there were so many people relying on me, and I had to constantly share my energy with people that were very draining. You know, working in food service, you're just constantly draining your energy. You don't have the ability to protect your energy from people that aren't on a vibration that you want to interact with. Now I'm very much more protective of my energy and the fact that I'm in control of who I want to interact with. And I get drained very easily. I'm a very empathetic person and very sensitive person. So because I'm like so kind and generous and loving and caring. Like in the past, when I was a people pleaser and I didn't respect myself, I just poured out all of my energy, all of it, to others, no matter how badly they treated me or how great they treated me. I just gave it all away and left none for myself. But I've learned that I need to save that for me. And then because it's infinite, especially if I'm pouring it into myself, then I'll have plenty to share with those that actually treat me the way I deserve to be treated. So it's a beautiful thing. When you love yourself first in a very unconditional way, then you can love people unconditionally. Because when you're coming from a place of lack, when you're loving others, it's not very unconditionally. Even if you're pouring your heart out and giving your all, it's usually from a place of lack and you're expecting something in return. You're expecting something of them. It's not unconditional. So then you end up getting hurt because you have all these expectations and maybe that person doesn't meet them. So then you get hurt and you get upset and then it creates problems. But when you love from a place of unconditional love, because you don't need anything outside of yourself, you've given yourself everything that you need, and anything extra from others just brings more blissful experiences in life than you already give yourself. It's just a plus, but it's not expected. And you can have more detachment too, more detachment from outcomes and the way you want things to be, more acceptance of the way things are, and also more love and appreciation for all experiences in your past. Because when you learn to become more present and always be appreciative of the present moment and always be in the present moment, then you can see the past, even the hard times, as blessings, because you realize, wow, this present moment is so beautiful and I'm only here because of everything that's led up to it. So all the hard times, all the difficult things that you've been through, for me, I've learned they're all blessings. I would not be the person I am today without them. I would not be right here where I am in this beautiful moment without them. So everything in your life just becomes a blessing. And the more you're on that frequency, because whatever frequency you're on with your thoughts and emotions, the two are very key, thoughts and emotions together, that's the frequency that you are living in, and that's what you're going to attract more of. And yes, sometimes you may attract a contrasting thing to remind you of, something or some lesson that you need to learn still, or some aspect of growth that you still need to go through, and that's okay. It's still a blessing. And so it may seem a little delusional to think this way, to think everything's beautiful all the time and everything's perfect. And it doesn't mean that nowadays I don't still have ups and downs. No, I do. But I've learned, that's another part of this journey that I've been through. I've learned how to ride the waves of my emotions as a very sensitive and emotional woman. And I've learned to see them all as beautiful and to love them all unconditionally, and to love myself unconditionally through everything I feel. And so it's just really been a beautiful process of self-love, self-acceptance, seeing my growth, being proud of myself, loving my life, because I look around me every day and just look for the things that make me feel happy and make me feel blissful. And then when I'm met with something that makes me feel pain, I see it, I feel it, and then I let it go. That's the thing. We all get conditioned to hold on to the pain. We haven't learned the practices to release. Things like breath work, meditation, movement, like dancing, even healthy expressions of pain and hurt, like yelling into a pillow if we need to, some way to release, just moving the body, using the voice. There's all these different ways that we can learn to release. So that's been another aspect of me that's been really important, is learning how to alchemize emotions. And it's been huge for me. But because I treat my body with so much love and respect, I exercise daily, I eat the right foods that make me feel amazing. They're really mood boosting foods. And I have these mindfulness practices, meditation that keeps me calm and keeps my nervous system in balance. I rarely ever, feel too many crazy ups and downs, but I still do. It's not, my life is not perfect. And I just wanted to, mention that. That's how it is. Even when you go through these healings and these transformations, your life is never just going to be perfect. You just have to start having a different perspective of all of the experiences that you have. Another thing that has been key for me, like I mentioned earlier about being more protective with my energy, I've been more intentional with realizing like the kind of community that I want to cultivate in my life and the type of people that I want to interact with. And obviously online has been amazing to connect with like-minded people, but going to things like meditation retreats and yoga classes and breathwork sessions, these types of things where you can meet like-minded people and be in a beautiful community where everyone is interested in healing and growing and spiritual topics, that has been super amazing. And probably one of the most profound experiences I've had has been attending the meditation retreats put on by Dr. Joe Dispenza. I've been to 2 at this point, and I definitely plan on going to more in the future because they've been so life-changing. Spending an entire week just dedicating time for myself to meditate, to grow, to learn the magic of how powerful I am, that I can manifest anything into my life, that I don't need to have fear around living the life that I want to live. If I want to just go off and start traveling without really having a plan and know that in my future one day I want to be somewhere in the tropics, growing my own fruit, living off the land, living sustainably in nature, all of these things are going to happen for me if I believe and if I take action towards it with love and without fear and without doubt. And so when you surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that believe in all of these things, and it helps uplift you and believe in yourself even more. So I highly recommend, doing stuff like that and being open to new connections, new friendships, new relationships that are in alignment for your highest good. That will just completely change your life even more for the better. And I hope that online, I can be one of those friends to you, because if you're interested in these things like I am, I love to connect with you people and talk about topics like this and share ideas. And yeah, it's just so beautiful and so amazing to meet more people that think like this and have had similar experiences, especially with raw food. Like, that's another thing too that I want to mention, that I've seen how much the food really does make a difference, like I mentioned before, but going a little deeper, I've been on this like high raw vegan journey for the past 5 years now. And through these 5 years, I've gone through phases of 100% strictly raw. I've gone back to eating more cooked food here and there, but most consistently, I've been basically sticking to eating completely raw, basically just fruit for breakfast and lunch. And then for dinner, I'll always have a salad, maybe with something cooked like potatoes or like some sort of whole grain or something like that, or just a raw salad. But through the phases that I've gone through where I've eaten more cooked food, I saw myself falling out of my other healthy routines, meditating less, feeling less connected to myself, feeling less of the high vibrations and the mood boosting benefits of eating these raw, living, electrical foods. And so yeah, it's been very obvious and evident to me that the food really, it's so key to experiencing these high levels of loving life, feeling amazing, having appreciation for all the beauty all around you. Because when you eat the food, oh my God, after a while, like when you first start, you might not feel it as much, but once your taste buds change and you get used to eating real food, because when you've been eating these processed junk foods with tons of salt and chemicals in them that make our taste buds less sensitive. Once your taste buds adjust to just the real food, wow, high quality fruit is like, to me, the most orgasmic like experience. Eating it, juicy, oh my god, so sweet and refreshing. Like, it's one of my favorite things, and I get to do it all day, every day, because it's so healthy. It's the healthiest food that you can eat, and it makes me feel amazing. It makes me stay so lean and healthy and build muscle, and I just can't believe the life that I'm living sometimes. I'm just like, I just look around and I'm like, I literally get to eat the most amazing food. It's nature's candy. There's a reason we have a sweet tooth and crave sweet foods, because our bodies need it for energy. Our brains need the sugars for energy, and every cell in our body runs on carbohydrates. So I just feel so blessed and so grateful every day that I discovered, okay, this is how a human is supposed to eat. And now I feel like I'm thriving every day. I'm excited about life every day. And when I just think about the contrast, when I used to wake up and dread life every day, wow, it's amazing. That's another thing that gives me even more appreciation for life, is the contrast that I used to live in the past. So I want to wrap up this video because I don't want it to be too long, but yeah, I guess I was just kind of brain dumping this whole topic that was on my mind, because I just wanted to share a little bit more about myself and my journey, and I hope that some of you guys can relate or find it interesting. And if you have any questions, let me know down below. You can find me on Instagram too and see what I'm up to there. But yeah, I hope you all are having an amazing day, an amazing journey in life. I hope you have the opportunity to experience a spiritual awakening as well, because, oh my gosh, the more of us that wake up to really the reality that we're living in, I think we can create a much more beautiful world. Because when we realize we're all connected to not just all the humans, but all the animals, all of nature, all of the universe, the endless expansive universe, it really will push us to want to give more love to ourselves so that we can give more love to everybody else, and then start doing the right things to heal this planet, heal this earth, and raise the collective vibration so that we can really be living in heaven on earth. And that's what I choose to do every day. But I want to see everyone start doing that so we can share heaven on earth collectively. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.